Rewind 18 months. Liverpool were champions of England, crowned by a massive margin. They looked unstoppable. Now, look at them. 5th place. 12 defeats. Over 50 goals conceded. A sacked manager. And a rushed, panicked replacement. How does a team fall this far, this fast? That's the real mystery. Because the trophy didn't hide their cracks, it just delayed them. And now, every single crack is out in the open. Today, we break down the 7 deep problems that could turn this season into a total nightmare at Anfield. Problem 1. The leaking defense. Let's start with the wound that got the last manager fired. The defense. Last season, Liverpool conceded over 50 league goals. For a team that just won the title, that number is shocking. Good teams win leagues. Great defenses win titles. And Liverpool's back line simply collapsed. Van Dijk, once unbeatable, looked human. The fullbacks got caught upfield again and again, and the whole unit lost its old solidity. So here's the clue. New boss Iraola loves a high-pressing, all-action style. That's exciting to watch. But a high line is risky. It pushes your defenders far up the pitch, leaving huge space behind them. If those defenders are slow, tired, or out of position, fast attackers will run straight through and score. So his fix could actually make the leaking worse before it gets better. To help patch it, they've brought in Andoni Iraola on loan, but he arrives after losing his place at Barcelona following some high-profile mistakes. So even the new defender comes with a question mark. Hold that thought, because problem 2 is a big reason the defense fell apart in the first place. Problem 2, the right back hole. Problem 2, the right back hole. This is a mess that just won't go away. Liverpool have 2 options here. Jeremy Frimpong and Connor Bradley. Sounds fine, right? Here's the catch. Both of them keep getting injured. Frimpong struggled with fitness and form all last season, never nailing down the spot. Bradley has a poor injury record too, and needed knee surgery that has kept him out. So the club has no reliable, fit specialist in that one position. Last season, they were so desperate, they had to play a midfielder, Szoboszlai, at right back just to fill the gap. Think about how strange that is. A title-winning club, patching a key defensive hole with a player who isn't even a defender. It weakens the whole right side, in attack and defense, and it puts even more strain on an already stretched thin squad. Problem 3. The injury crisis. Which leads straight to problem 3, and it's the scariest one of all. The injury crisis. Last season, Liverpool suffered one of the worst injury runs in the entire league, and it hasn't fully cleared up. Right now, key players are still sidelined. Bradley is recovering from knee surgery. Leone, a young defender, tore his knee ligament on his debut before he'd even settled in. And a striker, Ekitike, ruptured his Achilles, one of the most brutal injuries in football. These are long, serious injuries that keep players out for months. So here's the honest analysis. You cannot win a league from the treatment room. When your best players are in suits watching from the stands, results suffer. It forces the manager to change his team constantly, so the side never settles into a rhythm. If Liverpool get hit this hard again, no tactic on earth will save them. Depth wins titles, and right now, the depth is dangerously thin. Problem 4, the shallow squad. Speaking of thin, that's problem 4. A weak, shallow squad. Here's the clue that says everything. In preseason, Liverpool were painfully slow to sign new players. Their first XI, their best 11, is genuinely strong, one of the best on paper in the league. But look just underneath it, and there's a worrying drop-off. If a starter gets injured, the player replacing him is often a big, obvious step down in quality. And in modern football, you don't win anything with just 11 players. You need 20 good ones, because the season is a marathon across the league, the cups, and Europe. Rivals like Arsenal and City have deep, loaded benches. They can lose a star and barely blink, bringing on another top player in his place. Liverpool can't do that as easily, So when the fixtures pile up in winter and tired legs need a rest, the drop in quality off the bench becomes a serious weakness. Over a long, brutal season, that gap gets exposed again and again. Problem 5. The registration trap. But wait, why don't they just buy more players? That brings us to problem 5, and this one is sneaky. The registration rule. Football has a rule. A club can only register a limited number of non-homegrown players, meaning players who weren't trained in England when they were young. The maximum is 17. And here's the trap. With their recent signings, Liverpool have now hit that exact limit. So even if they want to buy another foreign star to fix their problems, they legally can't register him unless they sell or release someone first. Think about that. Their hands are partly tied. The one obvious fix for a thin squad, spending money on new players, is blocked by a rule most fans don't even know exists. It's a cage around their transfer plans. Problem 6. The record signings. Now, problem 6. And this one is about pressure and money. The record signings. Last summer, Liverpool spent huge record fees on 2 stars, Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak. They were meant to be the final pieces that fired the title defense. Instead, both had a season to forget, wrecked by injuries and patchy, inconsistent form. Neither looked anything like the player Liverpool paid a fortune for. So, here's the argument. On paper, they're both world-class, and the new manager's style should suit them perfectly. Wirtz thrives on hard work and space. Isak lives on good service into the box. So this year, in theory, they should finally shine. But here's the danger. If they struggle again, it becomes a full-blown disaster. 2 of the most expensive players in the club's entire history, failing 2 seasons in a row, would blow up the whole transfer strategy, waste enormous money, and pile impossible pressure on everyone. The club has bet its future on these 2. If the bet fails, the fallout is huge. Problem 7. The new manager. And that's the perfect link to problem 7. Maybe the biggest of all. The new manager himself. Andoni Iraola is talented. He did brilliant, eye-catching work at Bournemouth, a small club, with a high-energy style some people compared to peak Jurgen Klopp. But this is a completely different job. At Bournemouth, nobody expected him to win anything. At Liverpool, he has to win now. At a giant club with millions of demanding fans and the whole world watching his every move. Here's the clue. His style is demanding and high intensity. Players have to learn brand new patterns, new positions, and a new way of pressing. That takes time, and time is exactly what he doesn't have. Change the system too fast, and the team looks confused and lost. Change it too slowly, and they fall behind the leaders early in the season when points are already slipping away. It's a brutal balancing act. And history shows that one bad start, a few early defeats, can put a new manager under fire before he's even really begun. The chain reaction. So let's connect all 7. See the pattern? It's a chain reaction, where each problem feeds the next. The injuries expose the thin squad. The thin squad exposes the weak defense. The registration rule blocks the obvious fix. And the huge pressure of the record signings and a brand new manager sits heavily on top of it all. Each problem makes the next one worse, and together they form a trap that is hard to escape. But here's the honest counter-argument. Because it's not all doom. Liverpool still have a world-class first 11, packed with proven winners. If the big signings finally click, if the key players stay fit for once, and if Iraola's exciting style clicks fast with the squad, this same team could shoot right back to the top of the table. That's the strange, fascinating thing about Liverpool this season. They are genuinely one good run away from glory, and one bad injury run away from total collapse. The gap between the 2 is razor thin. Very few big clubs anywhere are this hard to predict. So there they are. 7 problems that could destroy Liverpool's season. A leaking defense. A right-back hole. An injury crisis. A shallow squad. A registration trap. Flopping record signings. And a manager under pressure. Anyone is dangerous. Together, they could sink it. Now I want your verdict below. Which of these 7 is most dangerous? And be brave. Give me your final league position for Liverpool. Title, top 4, or disaster? Drop it, defend your call, and subscribe, because I'll be tracking all of these problems all season long.